I'm standing in a paddock that used to be a rundown spell paddock for a dairy farm that's been turned around through use of smart technology and smart biology by the new owners in a period of only a couple of years. They're driving down the input costs to keep their operation running, and they're increasing their carrying capacity and the quality of product that they're turning off. Let's go and find out more about the amazing journey that David and Kevina Richardson are undertaking. David, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, Tim.
Kevina, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Thank you so much for having us out here today. You guys have got the most remarkable story of a very fast turnaround of your pasture and your animal health, haven't you?
Yeah, we do. Thanks.
We have. We started here 5 years ago, full-time, both of us on this farm as our own business.
Yep.
And we had to work with it and get rid of the old infrastructure that was sitting here that wasn't doing what we needed it to do.
Because it was entirely suitable for what it was being used for. It was a spell paddock for a big dairy.
Yep.
But no good for beef cattle production, and certainly no good for the intensive production that you guys are now achieving, isn't it?
That's right.
So this whole story, guys, starts about 5 years ago with the purchase of this magnificent property, and it's looking really good.
Yeah.
You decided to move away from your traditional fertiliser inputs, from your synthetic fertilisers. What was your reasoning?
Well, we always seem to be putting more and more fertiliser on, but we didn't seem to be growing a heap more pasture.
Yep.
And we realised our biology was looking pretty dead as well. So we sort of just flipped our way of thinking, I suppose. And we had more of a biology outlook, and how do we get more pasture growing? Better bang for buck, pretty much.
Well, the pasture's looking pretty good, mate. Can we go and have a look at some of the stuff that you're putting out on it to keep it growing right through the year?
Yeah, 100%.
Guys, this is not like the back of a traditional ute. You got some pretty funky stuff in here.
Yeah.
When you took the property on 5 years ago, you went cold turkey with your synthetic inputs, and you just went purely biological.
Yeah.
For a small period of time. That had consequences, didn't it?
Yeah, it certainly did. We sort of went off the edge of a cliff there. So I would say, our biomass was, lacking seriously. We weren't growing enough feed fast enough. So, we sort of introduced our synthetics into the program and mixed it with more of our organic sort of stuff as well. And that seems to be working really well for us at the moment.
Kevina, you sort of made the comment off camera that it was like taking an addict off heroin. You had to have something like methadone to put the addict on for a little while to soften the blow.
Yep.
You come out the other side of that now. Now, originally you had started out by making compost to spread over your paddocks. Can we go and have a look at that?
Yeah.
And can we have a talk about why you've now moved away from that?
Yeah, definitely.
So the first thing you guys did was attack your biology. You recognised that your soil was pretty lacking in life, Kevina?
Yeah. So we did a course and we looked at our soil under the microscope.
Yeah.
And there wasn't much to see.
That's a bit deflating when you get that, isn't it?
Very much, because we thought we had been going okay and then realised that no, it's not there.
That's when you treat the soil like a chemistry set.
Yep.
You forget about the life in it, don't you? And that carries a lot of your production capacity, doesn't it?
Certainly does, yep.
So, David, you decided to start composting.
Yeah, we
Where
started.
were you getting this from, mate?
Well, we were making it ourselves, basically.
Okay.
And it was going okay, but just found it sort of quite time-consuming. So this stuff we were putting through our tow and fert, which is no dramas at all, but it just takes a long time to fill your machine up, put this stuff in, all your other sort of gear as well. And plus, to be fair, I didn't really know what microbes we were growing either. So
Right. So you wanted a more precision approach.
we wanted a bit more precision approach, and also keeping time front and centre as well. Like, time's sort of pretty precious to us, and we sort of found these products from BioLink that basically have everything we want in one single product.
So you're not making your biology anymore.
No.
You're buying it in.
We're buying it in.
But when you buy it in, you're actually turning your paddock into the compost pile rather than treating your compost as something separate from your paddock.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Well, let's go and have a look at what you're putting out on the paddock now.
Yep, righto. Sounds good.
Great.
So guys, you're still using the tow and fert to put biology out on the soil, but instead of growing your own unknown biology, you've swapped over to this stuff here. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so this is the ignition product from BioLink. It's basically just a bit of blood and bone, fish meal, some humics.
Yeah.
And all we need to do is chuck a bag or maybe two, depending on rates and what we're trying to achieve, into the tow and fert, along with a couple other products, but it doesn't take long to fill the machine up, get out there spraying and doing our thing.
So you've turned that whole compost pile into a couple of bags.
Yeah.
And you've turned the paddock into the compost pile.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this bag contains the microbes. So
And you know the microbes that are in it.
we're putting them straight out. Yep.
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 So yeah, like you say, we're sort of getting the paddock to do the work for us. That is our compost pile.
Yep.
And I suppose every time your cows eat the grass, you're going to lose root mass to decomposition.
Yep.
You've got your microbes there waiting for a meal.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's now creating fungal networks through the soil, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. We're just using this machine to feed our microbes, let them do all the work.
What a wonderful way to farm.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's pretty simple.
Now, you're doing all of this work with your microbes and you're getting good results in your pasture, but it's important now to look after your pasture, and fencing's very expensive, isn't it?
Fencing's extremely expensive.
Yep.
So now we're sort of getting to the stage where we're pulling fences out rather than putting them up. As long as we got a good solid boundary, the rest is pretty simple.
So guys, you've used technology to turn your cattle into robot mowers.
Yes.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. So
You decided against internal fencing and strip grazing.
yeah, we sort of found it very labour intensive.
With the rotational, with the strip fencing.
Yeah.
We've already been doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was a sort of a 7-day-a-week kind of job. You're constantly moving strip wires and doing all of that, and great recipe for burnout. And you're still not utilising all your pasture. So we found this technology, the Gallagher's e-collars, eShepherd, sorry. And yeah, that does exactly what we need it to. So very even graze, and that way you're not getting so much compaction. You're not taking so much, like you're getting a very even graze.
Not all of the paddocks that you've got on your phone that you were showing me before, not all of your paddocks, there wouldn't be one paddock that looks the same as the other. You actually go in and you look at the grass and you set your paddocks up according to how you see the pasture being utilised, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you don't have quite enough biomass, you don't leave them there for quite as long. You can move them on very regularly.
And you can actually put in automatic moves, can't you?
Yep,
Into
absolutely. Yeah, probably one of the other cool features that I like, if you've got really delicate, fragile land ecosystems, then you can keep them out of there as well.
Right. So if you have a small riffle running through your paddock, or if you have a small patch of native vegetation, it would be very expensive and pointless trying to fence that off with traditional means.
Yeah.
But with this, you can actually fence it off to its boundary.
Yeah, you can keep them out. Even land that's not like good pasture land, it just needs a little bit of rest. So you can rest that for an extended period of time, whether that's 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever, and then come back when it's ready to be grazed, rather than
Off your phone.
all off your phone.
Yep.
For me, I was using AgriWeb as a tool to measure like how long cattle had been in paddocks and all that sort of stuff.
And it's doing that all for you.
This
on your
is
phone.
doing that.
So Cavina, how long does it take for the cattle to get used to the collars when you first start?
Yep.
Are there any cattle that you shouldn't put them on?
Yeah, so it takes them usually a week or two to adjust majority of the mob. The app will actually tell us and show us where they've tracked within their first paddock, and show us who is trying to, or who has gone over and had an audible tone or such.
Right.
So that gives us an idea. So major percentage is done within a week or two. To set them up, we are in a physical paddock which has physical fences, but we set up the virtual paddock within the inside of those physical fences.
So you might just use a reel
Yeah.
to set up your physical fence.
Yep. Yeah, that works
That's a
beautifully.
Simple, yep. As long as they can see a visual fence, they know. But then they learn that there's a distance between the virtual paddock fence and the physical fence, and it teaches them the audible tones. And they learn pretty quickly that if they go too far within that physical paddock, they get
a stimulus.
Yes.
Yep.
But
So
they stay within.
yeah, and the virtual fence gets further and further away from the physical fence until they pick it up.
Okay.
Which that does happen pretty quickly. It's quicker with sort of trade type cattle as well. Dry cattle.
It freaked me out when I came into this paddock before, because I got out. I've been brought up to do this. This is what you do. You guys opened the gate, drove through the gate. So I stopped the ute, started closing the gate, and you went, no, leave it open. And there's cattle over the hill, and I'm like, oh my God. But they're not moving, are they?
No, they won't. They won't go through the gateway.
Yep.
That's just unbelievable.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Well, there's some roots there, all right. Let's have a look at them.
Yeah, so you can sort of see that glomalin. So that's those the glues that are holding all our microbes and that to the root systems. So that's all sort of pretty beneficial. That's what we're sort of looking for in the system, I suppose. But as long as we can see lots of roots, worms, life in the soil, we're happy.
Yeah, there's a big fat worm there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if we were compacting this soil, we would be reducing the amount of oxygen in the soil. We wouldn't have as much microbe life. And if we were adding synthetics, we'd be knocking out our fungi, wouldn't we?
Oh, absolutely you would be. Fungi is something that's really difficult to get into the system. So anything that we can do to promote fungi biology is fantastic. That's what it's all about.
How much nitrogen did you have to put out this year, being about 4 or 5 years into the program?
This year we haven't put a lot of synthetic N out on the paddock, mostly because we couldn't get hold of it for a start.
People have been chucking bombs at other people for a while and the price has gone up.
That's exactly what's been going on. So, but that's kind of done us a bit of a favour. So we've sort of worked out that we don't have to rely on that sort of stuff. And yeah, these collars and having full control of pasture has really made a difference for us.
So guys, it really is a two-part story with your success with these paddocks. It's using really, really smart technology to manage your stock so that they don't destroy and deplete your paddocks and avoid situations like compaction. And then it's using really, really smart biology that we're really just starting to understand, isn't it?
Yep.
And you're turning your paddock into compost so that you can grow the microbes that support your plants.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, it sounds really simple, but getting our heads around that when we come from standard agricultural systems where we think of the paddock as a chemistry set, it takes a bit of revision, doesn't it? How was it for you guys, Kevina?
It was interesting because you've got to take your mind off of just feeding a plant on the top, and we had to then go into underneath the soil what was happening. And when we had a look under the microscope in the beginning, there was nothing happening. So yeah, we've had to change our way in the processes of how we think and what we're applying to the soil as well as the plant.
What are you seeing under the microscope now?
Yeah, we are seeing quite a significant difference. There is a healthy, diverse range of beneficial microbes. We're seeing that fungi starting to get into the system as well as other beneficials as well. So there is a definite positive turnaround.
Has that expressed itself in financial terms with you guys? Like, are you seeing an opportunity to increase your stocking rate? What sort of stocking rate do you have at the moment?
Yeah, so at the moment we're at around about 23 DSE.
Yeah.
That's our average. But, you know, I think we can easily push that to 30 and beyond, which, they're pretty big numbers, but like I was saying to you before, I'm not quite sure where the ceiling is anymore with the ability to have full control of your pastures thanks to the collars.
Isn't that just amazing? Like, because of the collars, you don't have a ceiling on your operation anymore. You don't know where it is. There will be one there somewhere, but the increase has been so dramatic that you don't even know what it is.
No, we can push.
Yeah, no, that's right. And it is exciting. It's given us a new lease on farming, I suppose. So, yeah, it is fantastic that we've got full control of our pasture.
And not only do you have full control of your pasture, but so do your collars. These little blighters have just moved in on us.
I have.
Your paddocks must have changed around.
Yeah, they've literally just switched over now. So we've got cattle all around us at the moment.
So guys, send this video to someone who you think should start to be a smart farmer and use technology and biology to assist them in taking the ceiling off their business. David, thank you so much for your time out here today.
Thanks,
Kevina,
Tim.
thank you so much. All the very best of luck. You don't need any because you've already proven that you can knock things out of the park. But I'm going to go now and rescue the ute that I borrowed.
Probably a pretty good idea, I reckon.
It's now in the middle of a cow paddock. Subscribe to support the channel. I've got to go. Excuse me, girls. This video has been made possible by funding from the Western Australian Government in the State NRM program. Click the link in the details for more.